Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the kickoff ceremony of Daiwa Hong Kong 50th and CareER RunnERthon Online 2020. My name is Poco, your MC today. I'm honored to host CareER's 5th annual fundraising event kickoff ceremony. For health and safety reasons, for all our guests and participants, we have decided to move our annual RunnERthon to online this year. The event theme for 2020 is Run for Dreams and Be Perseverant. Perseverance is without any doubt a characteristic that is always associated with persons with disabilities. This year has been a year full of difficulties and challenges across all industries and countries. We hope that everyone may come together, joining across districts and country borders, work collectively towards CareER's ongoing mission to support disabled and SEN talents. Speaking of which, we would like to express our deepest gratitude to all of our key sponsors in order for this event to happen, which include our title sponsor, Daiwa Capital Markets Hong Kong Limited. Gold sponsors, Bank of America and Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing Limited. Bronze sponsor, Deutsche Bank AG Hong Kong. Thank you everyone for your ongoing support to CareER's mission. Since this is our first RunnERthon Online, we would also like to thank our co-organizer Run Together, design partner Sdgs, our prize sponsors, Beatles Asia, Chen, Edmonton, Gigasports, Home Folk Talk, Lear Radio Technologies, L'Oreal Hong Kong, Salon Plus, our event vendors, and all corporate teams and individual runners from all around the world. Our event would not have happened without your support. May I now invite Mr. Walter Chen, co-founder and CEO of CareER, to give welcome remarks.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining today's the kick-off ceremony on our Daiwa Hong Kong 50 and CareER RunnERthon Online 2020. Actually today I feel like I'm a YouTuber doing live broadcast. Actually I really want all of you actually attending today's face-to-face, and then you would be knowing all the nicely set up equipment in front of me and all the lighting and microphones today. So, thank you so much to all the title sponsor, gold sponsor, and bronze sponsor, as well as prize sponsor, and our Sdgs partner, Run Together, co-organize this. So, CareER is a charity founded in 2014 to support the higher educated people with disabilities in Hong Kong, to be a charitable job matching platform, a peer support network as a student union and alumni union. And we're proudly saying, actually we have been helping a lot of our students and graduates to get the suitable jobs and career development opportunity. And now actually in our candidate base, we have over 600 of our members, and we're working with more than 120 employers which they have already hired our members. So a special thank you to our title sponsor, Daiwa Capital Hong Kong. When we are talking about this crazy online running ideas, actually the market, not many people know what is running online. And you raise the support right away to support the whole initiative, to support on our most important fundraising events every year as our title sponsor. Thank you very much. And our gold sponsor, Bank of America. Actually, you are the sponsor of this event, which we never seen you face-to-face on the whole year of 2020. And actually, you are putting so much support from your colleagues, from your team, from your community in a virtual setting. And I really miss you and your team to see Bank of America, your colleagues all together. And actually we are keeping on track on your runners. Actually, I know your team is running so hard as well, and that is remarkable. Hong Kong Exchange and Clearing Limited, thank you so much for always driving and the big drivers for ESG in the market, driving a lot of companies in the corporate sector, private sector, to support the diversity inclusion in Hong Kong and actually creating a lot of impact, a huge impact in Hong Kong community. And also our bronze sponsor, Deutsche Bank. You're always driving CareER to do a lot of new things, and with your passion and your enthusiasm, and not just the RunnERthon, and also driving us, working with us to support our scholarship program, our Born to Be scholarship program all together to help the young people with disabilities in Hong Kong. And also our prize sponsor, thank you so much this year on your ongoing support. And this year we have the overwhelmed number of participants of over 1,200 people. And actually we're seeing much more public is also enrolling in these 2 weeks running time as well. So in advance, talking to you of our prize sponsor, we'll be asking you to give a little bit more extra gift because actually we have unexpected more number of sign up than we thought previously. And also special thank you to our co-organizer Run Together to provide all the background technical support to facilitate this run, and our design support and giving the beautiful comics and pictures and characters of Dusty Kids. So thanks so much to my team. This year is a phenomenal, difficult and challenging year in 2020 with the COVID-19 pandemic. We're actually experts in live broadcast and doing a lot of video conference workshops. And actually, CareER team is everywhere in the community, virtual. And that's why another sense is I am here everywhere to driving my team to do a lot of extra things to cope with the difficult time and to create different training, career development, personal development for our member, and doing a lot of corporate training in the market as well. So hopefully my team would forgive me to be a troublemaker all the time. And thank you so much for all the hard work creating today's happen. Last but not least, I need to give a special thank you to the executive committee of CareER, and you always support us to go on track, even though we have so much creating a lot of crazy ideas like today's running online and creating a lot of broadcasts to create more public awareness on the date of International Day of Persons with Disabilities set by the United Nations. So right now I would like to hand it over to our chairperson of CareER Executive Committee, Raina Zhang, to address the audience. Thank you very much.
RunnERthon, virtual RunnERthon this year. We're delighted to do this kickoff today, albeit virtually. Of all days, it is the International Day of Persons with Disabilities as set by the United Nations. Amidst these challenging times of COVID-19, we are most grateful to all our sponsors for their continuous support. Without you, today would not be able to happen. Our title sponsor this year is Daiwa Capital Markets, and from what I hear from Walter's speech just now, you've been instrumental actually in our growth, and we thank you very, very much. To Bank of America, thank you for your support. Again, without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this. Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing, Paul and your team, I know that you guys have been supportive on various things this year, so thank you. And also to Deutsche Bank, your support for this run as well as the scholarships, thank you so very, very much. We are so grateful. As well as this, I thank all of our generous prize sponsors. These include BTOS Asia, Chunwo, Edrington, Gigasports, Hong Fu Tong, Lender Radio Technologies, L'Oreal, and Salonpas. Your support through this and throughout the years, I know many of you guys are not just one-time supporters, means the world to us. The CareER team has worked tirelessly this year to provide consistent services online and offline to our members. These include current members, alumni, new and potential members, in helping them develop their careers, even more so in these challenging times and market conditions. As you can see from the setup and arrangement today, our team has become experts in hosting virtual meetings and events on various conferencing platforms. I have to say today is the first time I've tried it with the team on WebEx, and it's flowing as it should with all the other platforms that we've tried, so well done to the teams. The theme for the RunnERthon this year is Run for Dreams and Be Perseverant. We have had an overwhelming number of signups, over 1,200 enrollments to date, including 203 corporate teams. And we expect this number to only increase in the 2 weeks to come. Our thanks go to our co-organisers and design partners Run Together and Dusty Kid in making this RunnERthon a possibility this year. Even though we are in the midst of a pandemic and one of the most trying circumstances ever experienced globally, this has not diminished our desire to dream big, persevere, and run for a great cause. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Raina. Now we would like to invite representatives from our key sponsors to switch on your camera and microphone to say a few words. Firstly, please join me to welcome our title sponsor, Mr. Terence Markey, COO of Daiwa Capital Markets Hong Kong Limited. Over to you, Terence.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Let me first say that here at Daiwa, we are in fact very honored to be the title sponsor this year. And thank you to Walter and CareER for the opportunity. This is in fact Daiwa's 50th year in Hong Kong. So this particular timing worked perfectly for us because our birthday is actually 28th of December in about 3 weeks' time. It's also our third year in the CareER RunnERthon. And I'm personally very happy to see, as Walter said, the number of participants. I mean, 1,200 in a virtual event is a huge vote of confidence in CareER. In fact, here at Daiwa, this year we've opened it up because it's a virtual event to our other offices globally. And in fact, we've got roughly 130 teams from Daiwa covering about 500 people in 13 of our offices worldwide. In general, Daiwa Group has a very specific commitment to what are known as the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. These 17 SDGs basically are behind how we design our businesses and shape our way of doing business. As an organization, we believe that simply making money is not the objective, but making it in a sustainable way that's healthy and supportive to every person involved. In particular, in this occasion, I'd refer people to SDGs 8 and 10, which basically address the questions of promoting inclusion and economic growth, as well as the elimination of inequality. And two of the missions, I think, that are at the core of CareER. I think you can see that generally between the SDGs and CareER's mission, our two organizations are very closely aligned. Our work with CareER has taught us one thing in particular, and that is that talent is talent. Talent with disabilities is exactly the same as talent without disabilities. And in our business, attracting and retaining talent is a key to our long-term success. Our work with CareER started back in 2016 when we first met Walter and his team. In fact, at that time, an accident had left one of our staff in Hong Kong confined to a wheelchair, and we were in the process of rehabilitation and bringing this person back to the workforce. This particular incident fundamentally changed how we approached the topic of people with disabilities at Daiwa, particularly because we'd never really experienced it prior to that. At the time, we consulted with Walter and CareER as part of that process, and in particular sought their advice in terms of how we brought our office premises up to a barrier-free standard. Since then, we've worked progressively with the team at CareER. We've included things like what we call lunch and learn sessions run by CareER, disability etiquette training, recruitment fairs, internship programs, and some job placements. Obviously, we're currently working with CareER on the Disability Inclusion Index 2020. I think in particular, the lunch and learn sessions were a great opportunity to expose our staff to the question of people with disabilities and generally developed a very positive awareness and empathy, and were instrumental in changing the mindset of our people in Hong Kong. Obviously, we look forward to an ongoing and very long-term relationship with CareER and certainly continue to work on these topics. Finally, I would just ask everybody that we not lose sight of the purpose of the event. Obviously, it's great fun to get out and run. It's great fun to see how we perform online. But remember that the purpose is to raise both awareness and cash for CareER. It is a fundraising event after all. Therefore, I would wish you all the very, very best in your running. Hopefully, I'll meet some of you on the way and in your fundraising efforts. With that, I'll hand back to the MC.
Thank you, Terry, for your ongoing support to CareER. May I now invite Ms. Margaret Lin, Head of HR APAC from Bank of America, to say a few words. Please switch on your camera and unmute your microphones.
Afternoon, everybody, and again, great to see so many people, albeit virtually. And 2020, you know, what a crazy year with so many unknowns. But one of the things that clearly remains constant is what fantastic work this team of fabulous people continue to do. And I absolutely love the theme, Run for Dreams. It should be something that resonates with all of us in our day-to-day life, particularly as we reflect back on 2020. We at Bank of America feel very, very fortunate to be associated with CareER. They are very true partners to us. As an organization, we foster a work environment that accepts, values, respects, and supports those affected by disabilities. 1/2 of the world's population is touched by disabilities, either directly or through family, personal, or working relationships. And we, and myself personally here, as part of the management team in Bank of America Asia Pacific, we are committed to taking action for disability inclusion for individuals with disabilities, whether those disabilities are visible or not. And the only way we can actually do that type of work is through our partnerships with groups like CareER. It's something that we take very, very seriously. It's also something that, you know, all our employees are very, very focused on and committed to. And I think that just resonates with the fact that we've got so many people today partaking in the actual virtual runathon. So look, I wish all the best to everybody. I wish all the best to my own colleagues. And again, just let's all continue running for dreams, and let's make this event just as successful as all the past ones have been for CareER. So on that note, I'll hand back over to the MC. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. Now please join hands for Mr. Paul Choi, Acting Group Head of Human Resources from Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing Limited. Please switch on your camera and unmute yourself.
First of all, The Hong Kong Exchange is very much honored to join this kickoff ceremony and celebrate this year's International Day of Persons with Disabilities with CareER today. Thank you. Thank you for having us. Diversity is one of our core 5 values at the Hong Kong Exchange. We see diversity as important, not just socially, but also from a governance and performance perspective. As the listed company, regulator, and market operator, our influence extends far beyond our regular business shareholders. HKEX seeks to promote a diverse and inclusive culture in our business, our workplace, but more importantly, in our community that we all live in. We embrace diversity within our own company. We try to set and aspire to be a good example for and guide more than 2,500 companies listed on our exchange. And we are a stern and strong advocate of diversity inclusion in our wider community, not just with CareER, but with a wide range of organizations that work towards the same goal, to embrace diversity for a better community overall. Now, I almost always try not to use the word disability because I would choose to use the word different ability or replace the S with an F. It's disability. I think you all and we all are the same human being, just with different kind of ability that we're born with. So, but to simplicity's sake, let's stick to the word disability for now. In my opinion, disability is a form of diversity that we fully embrace and support. And this is an area which our society often overlook. We believe that much needs to be done to be overcome the social exclusion of this group, and that companies have a key role to play. So I'm glad that we have many companies to join forces and join hands to tackle this issue. This topic, I have to say, is gaining increasing attention in the past few years. But still, many companies are still hesitant how to approach it, probably coming from unconscious bias and the fear of unknown and stereotyping that they may have of how people think of this group in the workplace. We believe mindsets need to be changed in terms of the capability of disabled talent. Barriers need to be removed to be inclusive of people and disabilities. Organizations like CareER plays a key role of this effective change. We have been working very closely with CareER. Starting from the past few years, we work together and our relationship has gone from strength to strength. We have offered not just internship program to students with disabilities, but also we join forces in many things, including how to educate our new leaders in business schools, how to look into managing disability and managing diversity in the workplace. We're proud to be the co-sponsor of this year's RunnERthon Online 2020. There's a means not just to raise funds for the organizations, but to enhance awareness of disability and diversity at the workplace. Over 1,200 runners from the corporates and public participate in this meaningful event. And within Hong Kong Exchange, we formed 11 teams, over 55 colleagues. Together, we hope to raise public awareness on the needs of higher educated students and graduates with disabilities. As a conclusion, we believe that a diverse company is naturally innovative, intuitive, and resilient. Diversity helps improve how a company listens to customers and other stakeholders and understands what they need. Diverse companies are also better positioned to attract and retain talent, particularly for the next generation of leaders that we are all facing. With that, I'll turn it back to the MC.
Thank you, Paul. Last but not least, may I now invite Mr. Keith Lear, Director of Deutsche Bank AG, Hong Kong, to say a few words. Please switch on your camera and unmute yourself.
Hi all, thank you for Walter and CareER for the invite. Great to be here today, and it is our honor for Deutsche Bank to be a continued supporter of CareER. But first off, I want to send a huge congrats to Walter and the CareER team for another successful RunnERthon. And moreover, amid the pandemic, a very busy year and a successful year with all the achievements and programs that CareER has been able to deliver. Deutsche Bank Hong Kong has been a very committed partner with Water and CareER, not only because we share the core values in giving back to society, but more importantly, we share the vision of making a positive impact to the SEN community with our Born to Be programs at DB. With Water and his team, it's always been a very tight collaboration. Well, and thanks for the honorable mention by Water earlier that we keep pushing him and his team to have a new and creative initiative so that we can maximize our impact throughout the society. Right? I still recall the first CV workshop we did in 2014 with high school students. It was a pilot program, but it worked out perfectly. And later in 2016, we did the first ever Paralympic event at our own office at ICC with Water's team in the theme of Rio Olympics. Thanks to Water, the organization, and his team, we delivered a perfect program that year. Then fast forward to 2019. It's always been an inspiration that we designed a scholarship for STEM students. This is when we piloted the first Want to Be scholarship for 5 university students. They are all very deserving STEM students, and the outcome was great. Hence, we did an extension this year with our internship program for 3 of our students. Thank you, Water and its dedication staff. I call them the dream team in making the partnership a wonderful experience for us. Glad to be part of this journey for Deutsche Bank and myself, and looking forward to an even more successful collaboration in the future. Thank you all.
Thank you, Keith. Now may we invite all sponsors to switch on your cameras for the ceremony. Walter and Vicky, please come on stage to officiate the kickoff ceremony of Daiwa Hong Kong 50th and CareER RunnERthon Online 2020. Let's count down together. Ready? 3, 2 CareER RunnERthon Online 2020 is now online. 今屆大和香港50週年成 CareER 潛能無限線上慈善跑2020正式啟動。Now may I invite all participants Now, I would like to draw your attention to some special features of RunnERthon Online while we are setting up the stage. To facilitate teamwork between each corporation, we are introducing our top 3 most engaging corporate award this year, where 3 corporations with the longest average mileage run per runner will receive a trophy and a special prize set. For teams that accumulate 100 kilometers or above, each team member will receive a special edition finisher medal designed by Dusty Kids. So go teams, run safely, and good luck. What's more, from now until 13th of December, we will be giving out various prizes from our sponsors, including body check vouchers, soup drinks coupon sets, and an air purifier through our social media hashtag campaign. Simply take a photo during your run and shared it on your Facebook or Instagram with hashtag Run for Dreams and Be Perseverant and hashtag RunnERthon Online 2020. For more details, please go to CareER's Facebook and Instagram. Due to the overwhelming responses from our international participants, we have now decided to extend the running log uploading deadline to next Wednesday, that is 16th of December. So you now have 2 more days to upload your records on Run Together's website or app. If your friends and family would like to participate in our individual 3 km or 10 km category, the enrollment is still open until next Sunday, that is 12th of December. And on 3rd December every year, we celebrate the International Day of Persons with Disabilities to build awareness of the situation of persons with disabilities. We also promote the rights and well-being of persons with disabilities in society. Up next, we will have a panel of 4 corporations lined up to share about mindset changes and workplace inclusiveness. We also have invited CareER's alumni to share their journey with us. First up, we would like to invite our panel speakers. Terry, COO of Daiwa Capital Markets Hong Kong Limited. Shantanay, Disability Action Network from Bank of America. Paul, Acting Group Head of Human Resources from Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing Limited. Keith, Director from Deutsche Bank AG Hong Kong. Please all switch on your cameras and unmute yourself. Walter, please come on stage and facilitate the panel discussion.
Chen, Paul, and Keith, you are always our stunning and strong supporters for our disability inclusion journey all together with CareER and with the community. So today's at our panel, I would like to have you all to sharing your wonderful journey in your disability inclusion strategies, right from scratch to now having a lot of different programs working together with CareER and the community here in Hong Kong. So first of all, the first question is going to Terry. So how was your experience when you started interacting with people with disabilities, and what was the impact and what is the impact of building an inclusive culture in the workplace? Over to you, Terry.
Okay, thanks, Walter. I think for me, the real impression that I've come away from is one of the words you're using, perseverance. I found that the people that we started working with disabilities are very, very smart people, very talented. And I think if you've gotten through university while handling a physical disability, then there's a certain quality to that kind of person that is really valuable to a company like Daiwa. They're very enthusiastic and they persevere through anything. The second part of it has been that letting our other staff be exposed to that and to see it and participate in it has basically changed the understanding of how we work with people with disabilities and what the potential is.
Yep, I recognize actually Daiwa Capital. You build a wonderful, accessible workplace in PP1, which is phenomenal. And I realize actually you hire multiple kind of disabilities in a workplace, working in your various team as well. So that's really a great opportunity for people with disabilities to develop and keep on continuing their career in life. So Shirine, actually, I remember at the beginning, you actually brought me and my team to one of the most participated and overwhelmed, to me, of the 12 countries actually workshop in Asia Pacific in Bank of America. That was quite scary previously. But would you mind to share with us actually how did you start with disability inclusion and what was the impact along this journey?
I think that one of the key important aspects of disability inclusion and the journey is just conversation around it. And I know it's been touched upon a few times this afternoon as well. When we talk about disability, diversity, we talk about getting people from different backgrounds, coming together. But I think the more focus once we have established there is diversity in workplace is on inclusion. And that's where I think the journey starts when we try to kind of make sure that everybody is included in the workplace. So from a disability action advocacy perspective, the work that we do here in Bank of America, not just in the region, but globally as well, I think the biggest focus is on culture. And then there are other aspects that we focus on, obviously, is on recruitment, and that is where CareER is a fantastic partner. And then once we have established a very transparent recruitment strategy from a disability inclusion perspective, the third thing that comes into the picture is the technology and infrastructure support that we tend to provide to everybody who gets hired. So I think it's all about, and I heard the word differently abled as well. It's all about the ability, the focus on ability. All of the event that you talk about again is one of those fantastic events that we have done with obviously your support, fantastic support from CareER, is where we have talked about this topic through different markets, different channels. One of the events that we're referring to here is obviously where all 12 markets in APAC came together to hear from Walter and the senior leadership team and the management team and the market presidents of the region. I think that's the key topic here. The more we talk about it, the more stigma is what we'll break. One of the examples that I always refer when we talk about this topic is that usually the mindset is when we go and hire people, when we go and look at our recruitment strategies at Drive, the very first thing that happens when we look at interviewing somebody is we look at the CV and we start looking at their abilities, right? We look at what is the value they will add to the firm, what is their experience, what is their background, and that's how the conversations start in terms of the normal standard recruitment approach. That's the stigma that we have to break, because it changes when we look at somebody with disability. Because when we look at hiring somebody with disability, especially when it's physical, it's patterned in front of our eyes, the conversation, the focus shifts from their ability to their disability, what they are not able to bring to the firm, especially, like I said, it's visible. So I think that's the stigma that all of us collectively are trying to break. And we have to continue in the journey, that the focus always has to be on the ability.
Yep. So thank you very much, Ine. Actually, you also mentioned about a great mission and a vision all together, that we are working together, actually focus on ability, not disabilities, and actually to break the stigmatize a community on disabilities, from disabilities to differently able as well. So I think, and also I appreciate actually you and Sandeep and your team actually always put together the right support and the best support from your organization. And it was very nervous for me to actually meeting and speaking in front of the country and the APAC president. It was a remarkable and memorable experience. So over to you, Paul. And we actually meet and know each other for over 10 years now. And actually you are always guiding me through different challenges, and also working with us to provide your support as you as a personal volunteers and mentor, and now actually having your support from Hong Kong Exchange and Clearing. And would you mind to share with us also about how you encounter disabilities, that particular topics, and what was your experience?
Thank you, Walter. Yes, we do know each other over 10 years, and I always feel that I learn from you more than you get help from me. So I think it's the relationship mutual. I think I echo some of the speakers. I think I would use the strong word I hate the word disability intrinsically, because I think it's about different abilities. It's not about focusing on what you cannot do, but I always try to focus on what we can do. I think my experience with people of different abilities is not just culturally, but from a mindset standpoint, do we genuinely believe that they are people with some form of great abilities in themselves? So if that is something that we truly believe, we'll look at people from a different lens. So I think what we need is about culture of organizations, about mindset of hiring managers, about mindset of colleagues. That won't change over time because people grew up with certain kind of stigma, certain kind of belief in the system. How to turn it around, in my opinion, is give them a lot of good experience on the other way around. And also, similar to many diversity and inclusion issues that we're facing, we always need the support from the other side. So in other words, I'll use the word allies, whether we have enough allies to support this population, to talk about them in a normal way and in a mainstream way is important. Now, I talk about normal and mainstream. I want to elaborate a little bit more on that. Because I think we need to mainstream this conversation. So this conversation, to me, and to Health Exchange, it's never about doing something charitable. I think it's about recognizing this group of people with good abilities, how to appreciate their abilities, bring it to the mainstream, and treat them as regular employees in the company. So in my experience, we're working with people with various kinds of disabilities. I have to say, how I work with people with visually impaired, different kind of levels, listening impaired or hearing impaired, physically impaired, and even mental illness or mentally impaired. So they all come with different kind of challenges. And do we have the ownership and have the aspiration to learn from them all, to understand what they're facing, and then cater for that? In other words, how we create a leveling playing field for them to maximize and optimize their abilities in different organizations, in different situations will be what we need to do. So I'll pause there, but there are a lot more to share, but then I will leave it to other speakers to share their experience as well.
Actually, I totally pleased to actually also believing in the same direction that actually we want to break the myth about the stigma and the word about disabilities to actually when we are talking about this, we always want to focus on actually everyone, you would have your own strength and weaknesses, and actually we just have a more explicit types of weaknesses that may other people understand and realize. But actually everyone in the community, in the workplace, you do have your own strength and weaknesses, and how we can improve it or actually be aware of our weaknesses to actually grow from strength. And that's also talking about nowadays, actually we realize actually some of the people more tech savvy, some of the people like myself is really bad in art and different beauty kind of senses. I have no sense on this kind of things, and thanks to my colleagues, my team as well. So that's very important to actually focus on the ability, not disabilities. And going to Keith, so actually we also knowing each other for many years, and actually you were my guide runner in one of the marathon as well. Actually, you're not just guiding me through the run, and actually you're guiding me through growing and working together with CareER to grow the whole team all together with your great support. So what was your experience on tapping into this topic on helping people with disabilities and the impact in the workplace?
Yes, well, hey, Walter. First off, I want to say that you actually was my guide runner. It was the other way around. You ran faster than I did at that marathon, right? So, I mean, but that's sure. That's all about collaboration, right? That's how we work together, no matter it's a run or it's a program or it's a scholarship that we do. I mean, with all the speakers just said, right? They say everything that I prepared for to say already. Disability, a lot of time we focus on what they or cannot do for the students or for the beneficiaries. But in fact, a lot of time is actually they showing us about their ability, their knowledge, their compassion, right, and also their skill set in delivering. At Deutsche Bank, obviously, when we all started, it started as a more volunteering program, right? I mean, it's about building awareness, building the culture for disabled society and the SEN students. But what we wanted to do as well is take it to the next step, right? In exposing the awareness with our colleagues, but also giving a chance for the students as well as any of the beneficiaries the exposure of a banking or a real life experience at a working environment. I think we did just that, right? Just taking our intern Marco this year. Amid COVID, he's not able to come to the office. However, he single-handedly delivered a virtual run at Deutsche Bank for 120 people, which was quite an experience. And with that, he was able to prepare the materials, present the program in front of our CEO of Hong Kong. He did perfectly well, and he fit right into our team here. So a lot of time is about knowing what they can do and offer them opportunities. But really, we didn't really focus on what he cannot or cannot do, right? So I think that's one thing. And as everyone has just said here, it's about giving them or providing them what they need, but also giving the space to actually deliver and show us the skill set. So I think for us, it's definitely a great experience so far. I gotta say, sometimes actually us not able to further expand and not go as fast as you guys, Water, to deliver a program for you, but this is something that we are working towards. And again, this is a two-way thing, right? You delivering all the good students for us, and then us, we just need to build the proper opportunities for your team. That's our experience so far.
And actually, that is showing that what is the importance of the mutual collaboration. Actually, we have the joint efforts all together, actually making a huge impact. It's not just 1 + 1, but 1 + 1 equal to many. So the next question is going to Paul and Chen. So actually, what are your few tips about when companies want to kickstart with their disability action and their strategy? What are your few tips for them? So may I start with Paul?
I'm very happy to. I just now talk about mindset change. I think my initial reaction to your question, Walter, is we have to find ways to change mindsets of people. There are a few tactics that we can consider to start with, depending on the situation. So, for example, people normally follow others when they see them successful in a certain area. So I will start with leaders who actually genuinely believe in this and genuinely work with us and become role models and allies that will influence other people to do the same of what they're doing. But secondly, I think a general education and awareness of what it means by different abilities for this population and how we can actually get the best out of the relationship and the talent is important. So it's not just about textbook understanding, but actually give them experience of working with people, seeing people around with different abilities will be useful. Now, I think there are some hygiene factors we need to work with, is how to enable the environment to be friendly, and also it's a level playing field for everyone to perform at their best. So different form of abilities will need different arrangements. So whether you have software to make sure people with visually impaired situation can see things clearly on the screen, whether people have the physical ability to open a door when they come to office, whether they are mobilized to move around the office, whether the office is wide enough in the corridor, etc. So all these things need to be really taken care of as a hygiene factors. Lastly, I talk about normalization or mainstreaming. It's important. I will not treat anyone with different disabilities different fundamentally from other colleagues. So, for example, I would not speak much slower in front of people who are visually impaired, worrying them they cannot read my lips. I will not speak too loud when I speak to someone hearing impaired, pretending that they cannot hear me. And I will not push someone to walk faster if I know that. I will not just push the wheelchair for someone without asking for permission, because it's courtesy, is something that we all have to learn how to work with them and live with them. So there are some hygiene factors and education we need, but generally changing mindset, changing culture will be my way to go.
Yep, thank you very much, Paul. So over to you, Chen. Oh, Chen, maybe you are on mute. Or otherwise,
Can you hear me now?
Yep, maybe you did speak up a little bit.
Yeah, apologies for that. Technology was playing with me. I wasn't able to unmute myself. I think I agree with what Paul said. I think I would kind of sum it up in a very similar fashion. There are, I think, three things that generally should be done to make this a successful strategy in any firm. The first thing, like Paul said, right, you have to start from the top. You have to get management buy-in. You have to get the right leaders to basically support you. It has to start from the top. And that has to happen for you to kind of make it successful, make this inclusion strategy successful, disability strategy successful in any form. The second is, once you are able to secure that sponsorship at the management level, the second thing that needs to be done is you need to kind of build a core team. Is something that we have done, and I'm sure other organizations have done as well. There has to be a focused approach to drive the agenda. Whether that team comes together and meets every month, does it on top of their day job, it is their full-time job, those are factors that can be managed at an organization level. But you have to have like a team coming together, discussing this, setting up priorities, and driving that agenda. And the third is, again, driving that culture. Once that team comes together, how do you engage the wider population? How do you get the entire organization talking about it? The team that's basically driving this, how do they leverage the support that they have from the management team, and how do they connect it to the wider organization? So the more conversation, more dialogue that happens on this, the better it will be for the organization to kind of drive that culture across the firm. That's how I put it.
Thank you very much, Chen and Paul. So actually, to summarize that tips would be actually, when we are talking about how to drive disability inclusion in the workplace, and actually, first of all, we need to have kickstart with the right conversation and set the right theme to go forward. And then we need to actually identify also about what is the business needs and necessary learning and exposure for your colleagues to drive disability inclusion. And then would be the experience, and which we have the CareER able model and driving through different strategies going. And also, we also mentioned about from a vertical point of view is from the top management to the line managers, HR, different business lines to work on this, as well as driving the horizontal, which is actually you do have a lot of influence and impact to your peers in the industry and in the community as well. So my next question is also going to Terry and Keith. Since today we have also a lot of the public and people with disabilities joining us today in the live broadcast. So would you mind to say a few words to encourage people with disabilities under this difficult time to go further, to run for dreams and to be perseverance? So would you mind to say a few words about this from Terry?
So, Walter, I guess what I would say is I've had occasion to give speeches to students who want to come into the financial services industry. And I would say the same thing to somebody with disabilities as I would to somebody without. You need to understand that perseverance is key. Anybody coming into our industry will suffer setbacks. And it's the same for everybody. It's a very, very tough industry. And therefore, you have to be able to take the good with the bad. You know, a level playing field means you're in exactly the same position as anybody else. And everybody who comes into the workforce has to deal with that. So I think people who come to the workforce with disabilities should not be discouraged when they find they have setbacks. That's part of joining any workforce at any level. And what I've said before, what's impressed me with the people we've seen so far at Daiwa has been they have a much stronger level of perseverance than most people. So I'd say don't ever be discouraged. You know, failure is part of being in the workforce. And failure is how we learn most of our good lessons.
Yep, thank you very much, Terry. So over to you, Keith.
Sure. So our effort.
Everyone won't actually not just our disabled or able society, right? Everyone to dream big, because without dream, you won't be able to think of what you want next and actually go for it. As you said, Walter, in this, I would say, challenge situation, it will be tough for everyone, but there will always be opportunity that's going to work for you. Borrowing one of the kind words from one of our students that we sponsor, right? What they said is, God might have closed a window on me, but he might have opened the door for me, right? So there will always be a chance for you to thrive. Don't be afraid. The only way you will fail is you don't try. Keep farming, keep finding other opportunities, and grab the chance to harvest, right? Think of yourself a perfect person with a lot of abilities. In fact, you are actually, a lot of time, you are an inspiration for a lot of us on what you're able to do, given some of the challenges you have. We all learn from you. We always say it's a two-way street. It's not just you learning from us, we contributing, but it's actually you showing us the way in how we can do things in our perfect world as well. That would be my words.
Thank you very much, Keith. So since today is the International Day of Persons with Disabilities, and which is the December 3rd event, so may I ask everyone to give one sentence to the public to encourage everyone to run for dreams and be perseverant. So may I start with Terry, and in the order, Terry, then Chidine, Paul, and Keith. So over to you, Terry.
Okay, one sentence. Keep your mind open.
The possibilities are endless.
Chidine?
Yeah, I would say everybody has a unique talent. Just stay focused, have faith in your abilities, and just take it from there.
Yeah, Paul?
I would say believe in your abilities, not in your disabilities. If you believe in yourself, people believe in you.
Keith?
I'll just use my DB slogan, want to be, and keep that positive impact going.
And thank you very much for today's, for all four of you, and all the sponsors, and all the runners, volunteers, and people actually working hard to bring today's and these 2 weeks running happen. And thank you so much. And I would deeply thank you, and keep going, keep running, and enjoy your run. And I'm looking forward to running around in Hong Kong, seeing all the faces together on the street. Thank you very much, and then I'll hand it over to Poco. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you so much for your sharing. There's lots of good tips here and lots of good reminders. Let's work together to promote workplace diversity and inclusiveness. We will now invite CareER's members to show their experience and tips to be perseverant. Firstly, let's welcome Ken onto the stage.
Higher diploma in business. As you can see, I need to use power wheelchair for mobility. As you can see, I need to use a power wheelchair for mobility, and I'm suffering from cerebral palsy. which is affect my visual control of my body. When I was young, I can still use CareER to walk, but now I only can move with power wheelchair. But luckily, I can move my hands, although this is not easy for me, since my muscle is weak. And it's hard to control with myself. One thing that is most affect me is that I can't write work fast. Therefore, during my study, I need to use longer time to complete my homework and paper. I remember that when I was taking the DSE exam, the normal student need to use 3 hours to complete the exam paper, but in my case, I need to use 6 hours to complete my paper. It's a double time. It's a crazy. Some have asked me, Ken, how did you persist it for 6 hours? It was crazy long time and tired. In my fact, I don't know how did I make it. I can only tell I preserve it to complete the exam, as I know it's not easy for everyone, especially in special needs school. I need to try my best to get the best result. What I would like to say is, if you have an opportunity to reach your goal or dream, no matter how hard is it, I believe that you can do it and keep positive and active on your dream or goal. You absolutely can achieve your dream in one day. Hope everyone keeps healthy and thanks everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken, for sharing your inspiring stories. It definitely shows your attitudes and your perseverance towards life. Let's also welcome Michael. Please switch on your camera and unmute yourself. Over to you, Michael.
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Hello. Yeah. Hello, my name is Michael Chen, and I'm a CUK student majoring in government and public administration. My disabilities are visual impairment, hearing impairment, and speech impairment. And mental health is the main social issues in Hong Kong, and I present in this topic. Because some students in CUK, including me, may have mental health problems in midterm and final exam. So that the issue is well to be paid attention. And I organized a student needs association company Hong Kong for focusing on the people with mental disorder in CUK and in Hong Kong. In the period of COVID-19, I and my teammate cannot raise physical events, but we recorded some video interview with patients with mental disorders. The purpose can reduce the discrimination by understanding more on the situation of people with mental health and mental disorders. In our society, a number of people have mental health problems, but they may not talk with others. For example, some individuals say that they would not share their emotional problems with others in school and in workplace because they are afraid of facing discrimination. They usually talk with other patients with mental disorder because they would not discriminate against others. So I think as long as we would like to take care more to our friends, colleagues, and family, someone may reduce their depression and negative feeling in daily life. Communication is significantly important for understanding each other. And in future, we would like to run our business model based on social enterprise and to cooperate with other NGOs for leading activity for making positive impact on our society. Also, conducting research for providing suggestions on related mental health policy can be benefit for people of mental disorder in reality. Thank CareER and all corporations for devoting effect on empowerment of people with disability. Let us run for our dream together and be passionate of our life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael, for your sharing. And I also believe that mental health is really important. And so keeping a healthy lifestyle is the most essential things that we should do in daily life. Finally, today's kickoff ceremony of Daiwa Hong Kong 50th and CareER RunnERthon Online 2020 is coming to a fruitful ending. On behalf of CareER, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to all of our sponsors, guest speakers, corporate teams, and runners across the world to support our mission. So go teams! Show your perseverance every day and run for your dreams together. Thank you so much all for your participations, and we will see you all again next year. Bye-bye.